Okay, and we're back. Star Wars Conversations return. I'm Jay, and joining me as always is Colin. And it's been a while, but I don't know, is this going to be a one-off and then we're going to come back fully when all the new series come out? Because we've got quite a bit to talk about. Basically, they had the Disney Investors Day or whatever, and they announced a lot of Star Wars stuff, and we were just like, well, we probably should do a little video and talk about it. And then, of course, the Mandalorian season 2 ended, and that was epic, and we just said, okay, let's record something. So here we are, and thankfully people sent us questions as well.
Yeah, but the thing is, I mean, I'm more than happy to record before then, Jay, because obviously I read all those wonderful Star Wars comics I want to tell you about. I've been reading Star Wars books, and I'm about to start the new High Republic stuff. So there's plenty for me to tell you about my old film.
Well, we'll see how we go. We'll record today's episode. There's
words. No.
No, maybe we'll see how it goes. But there's so much that's happened recently with Star Wars that
it's gone Star Wars mad. The world.
It really has. I mean, the Disney Investors Day, they covered a lot of stuff. Marvel stuff, all of that. But the Star Wars section, there was things that nobody saw coming. But let's just start with, obviously, The Mandalorian season 2 ended. Now, everything we talk about here is going to be full spoilers. So, if you haven't watched it, stop watching now.
Why are you watching it?
You should have seen it by now. I do know a few people that haven't had a chance to watch it yet. And,
well,
some people,
if they've got a chance to watch this, they must have a chance to watch Mandalorian. That's what I say.
Well, so where do we start with that? I mean,
poor blimey. I mean, do you want to just talk?
Let's go with Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker. that's
Luke Skywalker.
You know what? So here we are watching it. We know that in the previous episode, Grogu had sort of made communication with a Jedi somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And then, people throwing around theories. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be Ezra? Is it going to be, is it Cal from the game?
Jedi Fallen Order.
Was it going to be Mace Windu was one of the ones that was going around out there? And then, some people said Luke Skywalker's one. And I did think that there was a chance.
I said Luke Skywalker.
And honestly, I thought if they do it, you've got to get an actor in the role or whatever. For his face. Anyway, so you see this X-Wing come up, and as soon as it happened, my reaction was, oh my God.
Me too.
I'm watching it with my wife, right? And I said, they're doing this. I can't believe they're doing this. And she's like, what? And I was like, it's Luke. And she's like, how do you know? I was like, it's Luke. And she goes, I go, who else could it be? And she goes, Hawkins. And I was like, can you imagine though? They brought Hawkins back from the dead just to come on there and fight Dark Troopers. It would have been amazing. But the funny thing is that whole scene, I mean, it's damn good. Luke, you see the green lightsaber, he's like cutting down these Dark Troopers, you see the gloved hand, and you see the ungloved hand, and it's Luke. He's got the hood on, so they're covering his face. You see the belt buckle. He hasn't changed his clothes since Return of the Jedi. And he's hacking his way through, and then you have that corridor scene that's just reminiscent of Rogue One Vader scene. And gets away and he pulls the hood down, and when he took the hood down, I went, is it Luke? Because I was like, it is him, right?
Is it a 1990s computer game?
You know what? I actually saw on another podcast, someone had asked a question, and I'd never thought of it. And they went, how is it that you can have amateur deep fakes?
They're better than that.
Right? And it's true. Like, I mean, they've got Disney money and everything. Look, don't get me wrong. I loved it. And I very quickly got past to that, right? But you have to wonder, right? How is it possible that you can get, Joe Bloggs in his house does a better version, Anyway, it was still awesome, and then obviously, Grogu,
do you reckon you'll see on YouTube soon people redoing it themselves?
Oh yeah, guaranteed. Guaranteed. I'd be very surprised people aren't doing it already. And also, I thought to myself, because when we were watching, I said, eventually I reckon Disney will redo it and they'll just fix it. You know, they do like their movies, tweak it and just re-upload
like
it. And,
covering up Splash's bum.
Yeah.
Hair.
But or even like, you know, when they've done like special editions and then you get like a little tweak here and there and it's been changed over the years. I think that they will do that. You know, I think we'll see a change in it eventually. But yeah, I mean, so tell me what your thoughts were on that episode.
Well, again, I think it's difficult to talk about without acknowledging the whole series. Really, the whole season was amazing. I thought
both seasons have been amazing.
Yeah, but particularly, I really enjoyed this season more than the first season. I felt it really upped its game, and just became absolute must-watch TV.
Well, this season was more fan service. This one they brought in more characters that fans would like, but the story of the first season is what got you here. That's the one that kept people interested and excited by it, right? This one, it was like, hey, and they did it well, but they were like, oh look, Cobb Vanth. Hey, here's Bo-Katan. Hey, here, you know, and look, don't get me wrong, I'm very happy about Boba Fett. Actually, you know what? I'll tell you, Ahsoka, as everyone that's ever listened to us before knows, I've never liked the character.
You're not a fan? No.
I did like her in this very much. I was watching this and I was just like, okay, that's badass. And
that's because she's an adult now, isn't it?
Well, something else came from this, actually, from watching Mandalorian, which was that I went back and I started watching the Clone Wars again. Right? I'm actually enjoying it more this time. However, I still have the same issue with Ahsoka that I had when I first watched it. And I can't say I changed. Really, I just don't like her mouthiness. And it's like, look, you're assigned to Anakin. He's your new master. And it's like anything he says, she questions. She's always the one who comes up with the best idea. He's always wrong. She's always right. And it's always like, oh, Ahsoka saved us. Oh, Ahsoka did this. Oh, she's so good. And it's like, yeah, whatever, man. What I like better in this, when she was fighting the I can't remember what she was, the governess or whatever she was.
Yeah.
You know, she actually struggled with her a little bit. You know, she was fighting with a spear and she disarmed her.
I found that weird. You know. I found that weird that she did struggle because, she's got all these force powers and all she was using was literally how to fight.
I did actually go, why doesn't she just force push her and you know, take her out? Dark side power, but she could have like force pushed her and like knocked the spear out of her hand and taken her down. Do you know what I mean? That would have been a thing. And I always wonder that they always conveniently forget that they have powers when they need them, just like in superhero movies. But anyway, I interrupted you. Go on about what you thought about.
Well, yeah, but I just want to say, like with Clone Wars, I mean, I get what you're saying about the cartoon and the character and the way that Ahsoka was done, but that is because it was a cartoon. And that's what they do in those cartoons. That's the sort of thing.
They wanted to make her the main character, didn't they?
Yeah, that was it. So, so you have to forgive that.
Except it's part of the canon. So.
Yeah, but also what's so unique is just the way that character has evolved across multiple series, different shows. It's insane. I mean, like the character in Rebels was amazing. I mean, did you watch her in Rebels? You did, didn't you?
Yeah.
She was cool.
I liked her better in Rebels than I did in Clone Wars.
That's because she was a boss.
I liked her better. I didn't love her. I liked her better than.
You should read the book, man. The book is well good.
I've seen a lot of people say that actually. But I mean, I'm watching, as I said, I'm watching Clone Wars again. So I will, when I finish that, go on and rewatch Rebels again because I think
I'm just going to watch Ahsoka episodes
coming out as well. It's just the Ahsoka. So in Clone Wars, you're going to watch all of the episodes.
Not Rebels.
No, but in Clone Wars, you watch all of them.
Yeah.
So,
anyway, going back to Mandalorian.
Yes.
So season 2 just built and built and built. And I don't, you know, really from sort of like episode 4, I think, it was just non-stop, my brain blowing up every episode. They just kept getting better and better. And, you know, and then by the episode, you know, the one you talked about with when Grogu uses the Force communicator thing, Stone, and Boba comes back with his new armor and all.
Well, he's just repainted, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's just so. I mean, what do you think of the repaint job?
You know, initially I was like, oh, because it's like, you know, the battle scars look cool and stuff. And then I suppose someone else has had his armor, but some of those scars are someone else got them, so he wants to start again.
I hope he puts
And also,
some
it's like a new
on
beginning. Yeah, right. I assumed that he must have had some machine do the painting for him. He didn't like sort of, guys, while we're flying there, I'm just gonna start spraying it. I'm assuming that didn't happen. There must have been like a droid or something did it, or put it into something in the ship, and the ship repainted it, touched it up.
Yeah, maybe
I've got to say, I loved that inside Slave One when you see the inside move. I think that's so cool.
Yeah,
and of course the end of this episode, the Book of Boba Fett, see him as a boss and friend. Loved seeing Bib Fortuna all fat. He had his staff from the toy. Fortuna. Like the 80s figure and that stuff. And I also loved it. It's like, oh, look, it's Bib Fortuna. Oh, Bib Fortuna's dead.
I spent the whole of that scene saying, get off the bloody trapdoor, get off the trapdoor.
I did as well. So did I. I was like, don't stand there. Don't stand on the trapdoor. And I actually thought something was going to happen.
Yeah.
And then I thought, what I thought was going to happen is he's going to try and do it, but Fett's got the jetpack and he's just going to fly up and shoot him down, which would have been quite cool.
That would have been cool.
But yeah, I mean, so I was about to go off topic. I was going to go on to something else, but let's finish talking about this.
Let's just carry on talking. So, Luke Skywalker, right?
Yeah.
From as soon as Ahsoka said, we're going to get a Jedi on that episode, in my little heart, I was hoping it was going to be Luke.
And Luke made the most sense, right?
Yeah, and I was just thinking, surely it's got to be Luke, because he's the one that people that watch Mandalorian will know. Do you know what I mean? Because like most people don't watch all the other stuff, do they, or know the other stuff? Yeah. And I think it's hard enough to get people to watch the Mandalorian that watch just the films, let alone anything else.
I know people that have never been into Star Wars who are watching Mandalorian and enjoying it.
Well, I'm still finding people who are just getting on it, who just started watching it, and these are people that have watched the films, our age and that kind of thing. So it's weird, people only just catching up with it. But yeah, I had a little thing. I mean, I thought it was going to be between him and Cal, to be honest. I did think Cal was my second contender, really. I thought he made the most sense out of everyone.
Having not played the game, but having heard about him,
what his journey was,
and there was another Jedi with him as well. I can't remember what her name was, but a lot of people suggested it could be her.
Yeah, no, I didn't think it would be her, because she basically gave up being a Jedi because she messed a load of stuff up and caused people to die.
Like Kanan.
Yeah, but because Cal was, that story was all about finding the list of Jedis and stuff like that. It was like, well, it sort of ties in, and it would give a great leaping point to a new game, that kind of thing. But no, I mean, deep down I was hoping it was Luke, and then when I was watching it, I was just saying, oh my God, if that's going to be Luke, if that's Luke, I am going to go mental. I'm going to go mental. And it was Luke, and I did go mental.
Because there was a huge part of you that was like, there's no way they're going to do that. Because that's what I said. I was like, it'd be cool if it's Luke, but there's no way they're going to do it. I was like, they're not going to bring Luke Skywalker into a TV series. And then it happens, you're like, oh my God, this is happening. I can't believe it. And there is, I don't know anyone that didn't get excited by that.
Oh God, no! But also, like, I people have been saying, "Oh, Sebastian Stan's been cast as Luke" and stuff like this, and so I was thinking, "Oh, that's a massive spoiler if it's true." And I wasn't sure whether we were going to see someone else playing him or not. And part of me was hoping the reason I was hoping someone else was going to play him rather than a CGI facially thing was because then I thought if they'd gone to the bother of casting someone, they might actually make something about this era with Luke in it.
Well,
so I was.
Hold there, because there's a question about that. That we have a question about that, so we'll address that in the question bit, because there's a potential for that, right?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I loved it. I loved the fact that R2 was in it. I loved the fact that R2 was the one that pushed Gruger over the line of going to them, because he was like a little friendly face. I mean, again, let's just acknowledge the episode before this, the whole, when they go with
Bill Burr.
Yeah, that was such a brilliant episode.
That was a
wasn't it?
good
So
episode.
good.
Yeah.
And like the fact that he took his mask off in that one.
Well, that was the one,
Sort of-
right, where it was the
Yeah.
talk with him that kind of made him realise that, and also as kind of he's got to do it if he wants to find the child.
Yeah.
And that showed that, you know, he cared that much about him.
But also, like, you know, I mean, I thought it was super cool that he took his mask off at the end in the last episode, just because I thought, well, he's surrounded by people that are saying they're Mandalorians that take their mask off every 5 seconds.
Well, he's seen there's a different way, right?
Yeah, exactly, and it's shown that he'd, you know, because he'd been indoctrinated just into that one way of being a.
But this was Grogu. This was Grogu asking him to show his face, and when Grogu, you know, goes, he kind of wanted him to know who he was, instead of just like this metal mask, which, you know, he doesn't really know him. But then I did think, because when they did it and he's standing there watching him go, and then it kind of went to Cara Dune's face, like watching him go, and I thought, and she's going to be like, so that's what you look like.
Yeah.
Because we never saw, right? We never saw after he went. We never saw what happened. So like, what happened? Did she go, right, not what I thought he'd look like? You know, what was the conversation? Because they all just stood there, you know, staring. So the door's closed, right? And then they're still standing there just staring. And then I assume, you know, well, obviously Fett came back and collected Fennec. The bit initially when I was watching it, obviously being like a big Boba Fett fan, when he had the little fight with Reeves in the bar, and I was like, he would wipe the floor with her. But then thinking about it, I think that the case is that, right, she is a military trained Mandalorian warrior, right?
Yeah.
Who's a lot younger. Well, she's actively working, right? You know, she's working alongside Bo-Katan at the time. And she got some hits in. I think if it carried on, Fett would win.
Yeah.
She got a couple of hits in. Do you know what I mean? I like that when Bo-Katan told them to stop, they got their flamethrowers at each other. As she told them to stop, they both stopped at exactly the same time. Because if they didn't, one of them's fried, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like one's a second longer. It's like, oh, sorry. But I did feel bad for Boba Fett. I mean, I know, like, she goes, "You're not a Mandalorian," and he goes, "I never said I was." But it is almost like he can't be accepted. Like, you know, Django was a foundling, and then and they're instantly like, you know, you're a disgrace to your armor and that, and I assumed that was because he was a clone, because you know, lots of Mandalorians, bounty hunters and stuff like that. So it's not anything to do with that.
Well, I think it's probably more the fact that he's never paid tribute to being Mandalorian or actually done anything to earn the you know.
Yeah, but I mean, would it not, if there was? See, I'm not sure if this has been addressed at all, but because Bo-Katan says her armor's been in her family for generations, you know, wherever. So you can only assume that, you know, Mandalorian dude's dad is the Mandalorian. He dies and he gives him his armor. Like, you know, I was born. That's what I did to earn it, and now I work. You know, now I work.
Yeah, but generally they do something in the service of Mandalore, don't they? Whereas Boba Fett's never done anything to help.
But he's never really even been there. He wasn't born there. He was born in Kamino. He wasn't around. But his dad was there.
Thing. But that's the point. If he's going to become a Mandalorian,
Din Djarin hasn't really done anything in service of Mandalore.
Well, he's followed his little cult's laws, and he's been part of that family, hasn't he?
Who they see as terrorists.
Yeah, but this is the thing. But that's the same thing, isn't it?
But no, but Bo-Katan see the Death Watch guys in that as terrorists, right?
Yeah.
So from their perspective, he hasn't done anything to further the unification of Mandalore, which is what she's trying to do.
Bo-Katan.
I know she wants to bring it. She is. Well, actually, you know, and so
she's going to build a wall around Mandalore.
Well, I actually thought that the whole stuff with them saying that to Fett, and then the stuff with in her episode where Din, you know, wouldn't take his helmet off and they do. I think that, and then just after they have their little fight, she goes, you know, if we fought the Empire the way we fight each other, we wouldn't have been defeated. Paraphrasing, something along those lines. So is that then going to be people like Boba Fett and people like that? Then they kind of accept them a bit, and it's a change.
The unification.
Yeah, because if that's what she wants to do, you know, you got to include people. Is that like the message? Is that what we're trying to do?
I reckon that is the message, Jay.
And then going back, I don't really want to keep going on Mandalorian because we've got other things to talk about, but we haven't talked about it. So
we haven't talked about anything
on Boba Fett's episode where he got his armor back. You know, when the Razor's Crest got destroyed, and Din's sort of going through all the wreckage and all that kind of stuff, and Boba Fett's watching him, and I thought he looked like he was quite thoughtful, like he was watching him. It's almost like he's been through a lot. He's rethinking his life. Almost that's how it came across to me. And then,
or he was thinking about how he could stab Din in the back.
Well, it didn't look that way. If like going by the acting and all that kind of stuff, and then obviously, you know, then John goes to him, you know, our deal is complete, and he goes, no, it's not. You know, I said I'd help you get the job back. I'm going to honour what I said. Like he's got a code of conduct, code of honour or whatever, which I liked that. I liked that they put that stuff in.
I love that.
Then I thought at the end of this episode, you know, he sat on the throne there, and it's like, so is he going to be a new crime boss, or is he going to do something else? You know,
crime boss. Do
you think, or do you think he's now got another agenda? It's almost like, I don't know, it's like someone with like he's got some morals there, he's got his line, and now it's like, well, I'm gonna go back to life of crime or whatever. And
well,
it's like, really?
I think he, but this is the thing, like the best villains. I'm not saying Boba Fett's a total villain, but the best villains don't see themselves as a bad guy.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And so, I think he just wants to do a comeback.
Yeah,
he's got his armor back. He's got his mojo back. He wants to show the universe that Boba Fett is the big bad and he's the big boss.
And my one downside on the bits where he appeared was that no one acted like they've ever heard of Boba Fett.
And I know, that was crazy.
Like, he's the most notorious bounty hunter in the galaxy. He's the one.
He's
Omar. He's Omar from The Wire, right?
Yeah.
You hear his name, you're like, oh god, Boba Fett's here, right? And so when he's mentioned, everyone's like, yeah, anyway. And it's like, no, you've heard even Din Djarin, because he's alive, right? It's only 5 years later. So he's heard of him. He must have heard of him. And it's like,
they all must have done.
What? Who? It's like, come on, dude. Like, I wish that they'd put something like that in just to sort of have an acknowledgement. It's like, oh, really? And it's like, or it could be like, no, you're not. Boba Fett's dead, because obviously he didn't have his armor on. No one knew what he looked like. And it's like, no, I am. Watch this. And then he wrecks shop and like takes out all those stormtroopers.
But that's the other thing, is in Star Wars, people never ever recognise the ships, do they? Like, no one ever recognises the Millennium Falcon. No one recognises Slave One. You know, they're iconic vehicles.
And I know a galaxy's massive, but the way that the lore is advertised is that so-and-so is very well known. Oh, this is a famous ship. This, you know, so you would expect that it's kind of known.
Especially when they've got things like that tracking technology that the bounty hunters use, those little fob things, you know. So it must be easy for the Empire, everyone, to know who's who. Do you know?
We suddenly found out how easy it is to track someone.
Yeah, like you just got to have a fob. I don't know
how does it work? It's got a little red light on it and it beeps. Then that's it. I don't know. Anyway, we're not intelligent enough to know that. Okay.
I don't need to know. I don't want to have the magic ruined.
That's right. So let's move on from the Mandalorian, but we may as well move on.
Let's do the questions.
Well, let's just, because we don't want to talk about the Investors' Day. But one thing that was mentioned at the end of this, the Book of Boba Fett, right?
The Book of Fett.
Which we'd all heard from, I think it was the Hollywood Reporter or Deadline reported that they're already filming it. Right now they're filming it.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, they haven't mentioned Boba Fett, right?
And we did pick that up the other day, didn't we? When we after the investor call, we did on Star Wars Conversations, on Mando Conversations group on Facebook.
Yes.
We did pick that up.
Rodney on the Star Wars Conversation, when he went, yeah, but why ruin it if it is a thing? And it's like, that's a good point, actually. And exactly that's what they were doing. Now, what do you think this is going to be about? My thought is that it's going to tell us what happened when he got out of the Sarlacc and leading up to where we are, and then maybe go on a little further. Do you think, because it's a one and done series, do you think it's going to be from the time he takes the throne and then what he does? Is it going to be like the rise and fall? Is he going to die at the end of it? Is it going to be like, you know, he becomes prime boss and gets whacked? Or is it going to be that, you know, a story, the book of Boba Fett, this is, you know, this happened and this is how I got out?
It's difficult to know, Jay, because there's two conflicting things in my brain. What you just said would be a very cool thing, and I think there is a potential, you know, that would make a nice story. But the thing that goes against that is really that, you know, there's now going to be 2 or 3 different series all set in the same timeline. They're already talking about doing like a joined up thing where at the end it all comes together.
So that's Ahsoka and Rangers of the New Republic. They've said that they're running in the same timeline as Mandalorian season 3.
Yeah,
and they're going to have a
and they're
crossover.
Talking about like
awesome.
And there might be like one big bad, Admiral Thrawn probably.
Yeah, yeah, right. I think so. I think
yeah,
so.
It's got to be. Who else would it be?
Name drop, right?
Yeah. But I mean, my initial thinking, because also there was also the fact that I know it's been confirmed that this is not Mandalorian season 3, because that was the other thing that people were talking about. Well, is that the story for Mandalorian season 3, Book of Fett? It's because the Mandalorian was done in chapters. Was that the end of that book, and the next book was going to be Boba Fett book? You know, which did cross a lot of people's mind and people confused. But that's been clarified today, isn't it? It's come out in the.
It is clarified already. It had already been clarified. Yeah. There was going to be Mandalorian season 3, and this is another show, which is coming December. So they're both going to be in December. Personally,
I think the most likely thing is that it's going to be set in the Mandalorian time, because I think they wouldn't have set up Boba Fett taking over the palace if they weren't going to tell that story. I don't think.
So is he going to be an enemy of Din Djarin, do you think?
I don't think for most of that story he's going to have anything to do with Din Djarin. I think it's going to be about Boba Fett establishing himself, or maybe not, maybe failing to, as a new crime lord or like a...
and all they do is make him into a clown again.
Well, it could be his redemption. Again, it could be like his hero's journey, that he tries to take over that way, then realises there was a better way. And as you said, he's already starting to reflect on the way he's doing stuff. And he might end up becoming a ranger, because, again, he could take over that sect and then link into the New Republic. You know, he could end up working for them.
Well, when he appeared, I felt like they were going to give him a redemption arc. And my only concern with that is that in redemption arcs in Westerns, normally that hero, the anti-hero or whatever, dies, which I don't want to happen. And for 2 reasons. One, I love the character, and I want him to be left open for the potential for more later on if they really wanted to. But secondly, I think he's a big cash cow for Disney, and it'd be a bit of a mistake to kill him off.
Let's face it, there's a new toy now we can have of him in his new costume.
I can't wait to get that.
And let's face it, by the time he's got his own, his Book of Fate, I can guarantee he's got yet another new costume. They'll change it up again, won't they?
So 2 new toys.
He'll probably have like some kind of Emperor Fett costume or something like that, or whatever he's going to call himself. And it's really cool.
Fett.
Yeah.
Big Boss Fett. Big Bad Boba.
Yeah. Oh, Big Bad Boba.
But is he going to get fat now? Like sitting on the throne, like just like stuffing his face with frogs and stuff.
Possibly. I mean, the only thing that surprised me when he showed up in that episode of Mandalorian 2, the two episodes ago, whatever it was, with Ming-Hua. I can't remember, what's her character called?
Fennec Shand.
Yeah, Fennec. It was just a bit weird. I just found it a bit too quick that he was on their side, kind of thing.
He just wanted the armor back. He just wanted the armor. That was all he wanted. And I mean, the thing is, he did jobs for the Empire, but he was a bounty hunter. So it's like, hey, there's a bounty on so and so. Here's the money. He was actually already after Han Solo, right? And there was a way of getting paid twice. But it's like, okay, you're paying me. But then I guess from his point of view, maybe they weren't that great, and that's why when he saw the stormtroopers, he was like, hey, fuck these guys, and just goes and starts taking them out.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. But I guess really my point is that he's quite a ruthless guy. And I know it wouldn't have really led to much of a story by doing it, but I would have thought he would have just gone in and killed Grogu and Mandalorian straight off in that episode. He would have just killed them. He wouldn't have messed around with trying to do a deal, all that kind of stuff. If what's the face had Grogu in his sights, he would just killed him and then killed Mandalorian.
Well, maybe it was look, I've got no beef with you. Just give me what I want, and then we'll go our separate ways. I've got no reason to kill you. You know what I mean? It's like,
but why would he put himself in a situation where he has to get in debt with somebody? I mean, he's not really known for being. I just felt it wasn't really again. But this is the thing, this is why it might be good to see a story set in his past. So see how he got to be that person. But that's not the person he was. Let's face it.
You know what I think they should do is, as you said, go from where it is in the timeline, and maybe just have he's telling the story as well, and have like the flashbacks throughout.
Well,
that
would make sense, right? Because you don't need a whole series about the past. Because let's face it, we just want to see how he got
walking around the desert looking for his armor. It's taken him all these years. I mean, Cobb Vanth had he just walked up to him and taken him out.
Well, this is the thing. We want to see a Boba Fett in his armor. We don't want to see a Boba Fett in his dressing gown walking around. And
we want to see. This is a real opportunity as well. In the episode where he turned up, and when we got to see him be a full-on badass, shooting, knee rockets and just taking out the ships with his rocket pack.
I love seeing the Stormtrooper helmet smashing.
It's the most brutal we've seen, right? It's the most brutal we've seen. But this is an opportunity. Let's see Boba Fett as a serious badass, because when I watched that, I said to Ange, I went, that's my wife, for people that don't know, is that if this Boba Fett fought Din Djarin, Din Djarin's dead. Because Din Djarin, he's good, but a lot of it's luck, right?
Yeah,
and in fact, I was going to say, in that same scene, he's shooting, Stormtroopers always miss, but he's like, ting, 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 getting shot. And I was counting, I was like 18, 19, I was like, this guy's been shot to pieces. I've got armor, whatever, shoot me, He just lets himself get hit. Oh, you should practice not getting hit. That's a good way of doing things,
Try and dodge.
Right? But
how did he survive all that time without the Beskar armor? I don't know.
I know, right? So anyway, okay. So we've got the Book of Boba Fett. That sounds good. So lots of other ones announced. Obviously, we've got Obi-Wan coming. The great.
Yes.
And can I just say one thing that people always forget about? We should thank Kathleen Kennedy for The Mandalorian.
I thank her all the time.
She greenlit that. She's the one that said, yeah, do it. And then she's also the one that put Dave Filoni with Jon Favreau to work together.
Yeah.
And together, I think they
are
brilliant.
Team.
So
Thank you, Kathy.
We just mentioned the other two shows. We've got Rangers of the New Republic, and we've got what's the other one that's running in conjunction? Ahsoka. Yeah, and those are both going to be Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau doing those. So
they're going to produce them, aren't they? I don't know if they're doing more than that.
Well, I think because Jon Favreau produces this, I know he writes this as well. Maybe he'll be involved in that. I'm not sure. Dave Filoni's going to be heavily involved in Ahsoka. You know that.
Oh, yeah.
This is character.
He's got to be showrunner, hasn't he?
So it'll be really interesting to see what happens with those. Rangers of the New Republic. What do you think? I mean, Ahsoka, we know it's about Ahsoka. Rangers of the New Republic. Who are they going to be? Who's that?
Well, I'm assuming this is going to be like the people that, like Cara Dune and Matey Boy that was wearing the Boba Fett armor, like these marshals that become like.
Do you think Cobb Vanth's going to get a new something to wear, new gear? Because otherwise he's just like guy with a bandana on his neck.
I think they give him a better costume than that red jumper he used to wear. That was terrible.
I think he'll be a bit more Han Solo kind of gear, like gunslinger.
And I mean,
waistcoat.
I think it's basically that's going to be basically the cowboy, but also I think actual New Republic officers will be part of that, won't they?
Do you think there'll be the X-wing pilots that we saw, Kim's Convenience dude?
Yeah, I don't think it'll actually be them. I think they'll put some different characters in. And I think we'll probably follow a bit like Chips or something, or that kind of show where they just drive around and end up on different planets, and you'll see people like Cara doing, and they go and sort out issues.
So it's like a New Republic police force kind of show, almost.
Yeah,
isn't
that's
it?
what I reckon it'd be. Yeah.
Who's that guy? What was his name again?
Puncharelli.
No, that was in Rogue One. Do you remember the mask, the one that they did in the comics badly? That I liked. I can't remember what his name was. Began with P.
Oh, our favourite one. Oh, I can't remember his name now.
Our favourite. We can't remember his name, but yeah, do you think it'd be like characters like that, or like we're going to see stuff like that turn up? Or
well, I say, I think it can be basically two cops.
It's like a buddy cop show.
Yeah, going around dealing on different planets, covering, hooking up with different peacekeepers and different. It'd just be like that. It'd be like A-Team, Knight Rider, Chips. All of that rolled into one.
Well, Cobb Vanth would be a good one for it. I mean, that's the character that he plays in everything, and he plays it well. So
yeah. I don't think he'll be the star. I think he'll just be in an episode.
Oh, really? You don't think it's going to be... Okay, no, so who do you think is going to be the main one? Cara Dune?
No, I think they're just going to come up with two new
Avengers. Okay. Right.
Oh, and then we're going to follow them.
That sounds cool.
Right,
I like the idea of a space buddy cop show. That could be quite... fun.
I think that's what it'd be. That's just two X-wing pilots that just fly around, and they just keep peace around the galaxy.
Well, I don't know if it'd be X-wing pilots because obviously of the movie that's coming, but
yeah, but I think it will because that's what they drive.
What?
If you're a New Republic policeman, that's what you drive. You drive an. Well, that's what they've been driving in this so far, isn't it?
I suppose it is Rangers of the New Republic. It's not just like. Yeah. Marshals or whatever,
yeah.
But one thing, like going back a little bit,
or they might get a new ship completely designed.
Yeah, that's possible. Well, speaking of new ships, one thing I thought was going to happen, by the way, in Mandalorian was that we're going to
get a new ship.
Yeah, and I kind of wanted Fett to help him find one, like an Imperial one, and go, that'll be a good bounty hunter ship.
He might get Slave 2. He might get Slave 3.
Slave 2. They had a toy of Slave 2, didn't they?
Yeah, we did.
It was not. You could have that one.
Or he could find the Millennium Falcon before it gets given to Rey and fly it around for a few years.
Well, here's the thing, right? Is it not just another Razor Crest? Because that appears at the end of Rise of Skywalker, right? So
yeah, but that could just have been another Razor. It didn't necessarily
someone else's ship. Yeah, I suppose so.
Could have been Grogu's.
I hope they give him something cool. I'd like it if they made a new cool ship and it's modified to be a good bounty hunter ship or whatever. I don't want him to end up Slave 1, but that doesn't. I don't want that to happen. Anyway, so we've got those. Got Obi-Wan. The good news is we're getting Hayden Christensen back. I think that's really cool. Is it good? No, I think it is. But you know why?
Does it make a difference?
I'll tell you why I think it's good, and only from the perspective of seeing him. It is that I'd like to see what he's like with a different director.
Yeah.
With Deborah Chow, she's really good, and I'd like to see what she does with Hayden Christensen.
I'd tell you what I'm excited about with that show and Darth Vader being in it is I'm hoping, like in the comics, when Vader had his little force streams and his force projection, and how they showed that. I'd love to see that on the screen, and that would be a good way to actually show Hayden because. Also, I know you haven't read it, but they've just released the Certain Point of View Volume 2 for the Empire Strikes Back book.
Oh, yeah.
Which is another anthology
I'd like to read that.
It's really good, and there's a really brilliant one, which is all about Vader's dreams of what he's going to do with Luke.
Right.
And in his dream, he's all like Anakin, like Lord Vader, like how he was before he got burnt up.
He envisions himself like that.
Yeah. And he's got Luke and Leia with him.
Because that's what he wants to be like that.
Not Leia. I don't think he's got Leia. He's got Luke with him, possibly a daughter. I don't know. I can't remember. I think he's definitely got Luke, but obviously he has his And I'd just love to see something like that in live action. That'd be wicked.
That would be cool.
And that's a real opportunity, I think.
The one concern was that they mentioned Obi-Wan and Vader having a fight again, and I'm like, no, I don't want that.
They can't have a fight.
It would just mess with like A New Hope. Yeah, and we don't need that. I mean, look, as much as it'd be cool, you know, like we saw Luke, it'd be cool to see Hayden Christensen, Vader, and he's going to wear the costume all the time. You know, him versus Ewan McGregor, Anakin. It'd be awesome to see, but that's all it would be, and it wouldn't make sense. But what we might see with him, if it does have, you know, because obviously Vader's hunting down remaining Jedi and stuff like that. If it does kind of cut to how we cut to Moff Gideon, cut to Vader sometimes, what he's doing, you know, you see him in his meditation chamber. Helmet will be off and stuff like that. All that'd be quite cool, and I'm interested to see where they're going to go with this.
Yeah, I want to see Inquisitors as well. I'd love to see live action Inquisitors.
We might see that, and that, you know, that could be people that Obi-Wan has fights with. You know? And maybe
Vader and Obi-Wan don't need to physically fight, do they? There could be like some kind of
force fight across the galaxy.
Yeah, but also chase, you know, that kind of thing, you know, like in pursuit, and he's got his Inquisitors doing the actual fighting, but Vader's there in the background kind of thing.
Yeah.
Pulling with strings.
Yeah. Interesting.
Do you reckon we'll see Palps?
Oh, maybe if we do.
Well, he's dead.
It'll be... No, he's not. But maybe if we do, it might be, you know, like in Empire, where he goes, "What is thy bidding, my master?" And then he appears in a hologram, something like that. Because that would make sense, right? You see Vader and he communicates with the Emperor, like that kind of stuff would make sense. One of the ones that sounded very exciting was Acolyte.
Did it?
Yeah, I thought it did, especially once they put the logo up and it was like, you know, all in red and a slash, and I was like, so it's set just after the High Republic. And obviously with Acolyte, it's going to be a Sith student from their point of view.
I guess that would be cool. Yeah.
Right?
Just how well they do it. I mean, like I say,
look, I'm going on the back of the quality of the Mandalorian. That I've got a bit of confidence. I had a bit of a sort of
wobble.
I started to sort of fall out of love with Star Wars a little bit, you know, after we'd had like the sequel trilogy and stuff like that.
That's why we stopped doing this bloody show.
Well, I was just like, I didn't want to be like having a conversation where I was coming across negative all the time.
No.
And I was starting to feel that way. That everything I was watching, and I was just feeling quite negative about it all. And like with Mando coming along, I love it. It is like being a kid
Star
again.
Wars.
And you know, I posted a picture the other day I found on Reddit of two kids playing their toys, and it's like Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau playing with it, like making the episode of Mando. And it is like that. I was like, oh, let's get, you know, this figure and that one, and we'll have this fight, you know, and it's just like that. So based on what they've done here, I'm feeling quite confident about the future, especially with what they've announced. And, you know, we've never really had something from a full-on Sith student point of view. Someone, I think it was Robert Meyer Burnett was on the John Campea show, and they sort of talked about this Investors Day, and he said something that was quite good, which was that when they did the sequel trilogy, obviously they bought, Disney had bought Lucasfilm, and they needed to make all this money back, right? So they started putting these movies out, and, you know, a lot of people say with The Force Awakens, they kind of played it a bit safe and all that kind of stuff. But he goes, now they've made their money back, like, loads.
They can do what they want.
And now they've got Disney Plus, so they can have a bit of a, let's take a risk, let's do something different. Hey, what about a Sith character? Let's be honest, it's a series, right? So let's say that people don't really get on board with it. There won't be a season 2. Done. You know, simple as that. That's all they got to do. And I'll tell you what, one thing I would like to see, and this was something that Ange brought up when we were watching The Mandalorian. Stormtroopers. They are meant to be good. They are meant to actually be good soldiers. I'd like to see something where we see stormtroopers actually being serious badasses. Just just to, because obviously when they fight the heroes, they lose, but they're always made to be dumb and just get knocked over and shot. And it would be quite cool now, especially as they're going to do things like something from the Sith point of view, or whatever. Maybe have something from a Stormtrooper point of view. That episode
they could
with
be
Bill Burr.
Rangers of the Empire.
Well, something like that. That episode with Bill Burr we talked about, the most recent one, where they drove the truck in, and then you saw the stormtroopers celebrating when they came in. Loads of people have commented on that because they humanized them. It was like, to them, it's like, hey, yeah, you did it, yeah, oh, well done. And there's a bit of, you saw camaraderie between them and that. I like to see that stuff. I like to see the opposite point of view because, since Rogue One, what we got, which was something I really liked, was that you see the rebels aren't like squeaky clean goodies. They've got to get their hands dirty. They've got to do things that maybe aren't so nice all the time. And
a terrorist.
Not all Imperials are, like, kill those scum. Some of them are like, this is my job. I'm a conscripted soldier, and they've got friends there. Like as Bill Burr's character talked about, friends of mine died when we were in that battle. I lost friends. I lost people I care about. I love to see, even if it's a one and done series, like a short 6 or 8 episode series, but just almost like Band of Brothers, something like that, but about stormtroopers. I would love to see that. I think that'd be so cool.
It would be cool.
Anyway, Patty Jenkins is going to be directing the next Star Wars movie, Rogue Squadron.
Yeah.
Did you watch the trailer for that? The sort of when she introduced, I thought it was brilliant. I was watching it going, she was talking about it, and I was like, it's a bit of a weird way to do your talk, like while you're, skating along, and then she's getting changed. I was like, really weird that they did this. I thought
she was a fan of Xanadu when she was skating along.
But it was so good. She then pulled up the orange X-Wing pilot suit and started skating off towards it. It's like, oh, there's an X-Wing parked in the background. But the way she talked about it as well was great. Her dad was a fighter pilot who lost his life in combat. So based just on that initial part, she must have heard lots of stories as a youngster from so she'll incorporate that. This could be cool. I mean, it's going to be obviously Top Gun in space. But also, I'm really looking. Are we going to get Wedge?
It's got to be in it. Also, like in that same book, The Certain Point of View, Empire Strikes Back, that's how you get the name Rogue Squadron. They talk about it, that Luke names the squadron in honor of the Rogue One mission, and he makes sure that no one can have the cool name Rogue One. There's only Rogue Leader, then it goes to Rogue 2 in honor, which is cool, isn't it?
Yeah. So, do you think that this is going to be like all this stuff be addressed in this movie, or do you think it's just going to be like missions of Rogue Squadron, or like what do you reckon we're getting here? I like to give you the difficult questions.
Yeah, let me just think about that, Jay. I think they're just going to get. It'll be very just action orientated.
Do you think they'll keep it?
It won't be the
how the books
it won't
were.
Be the start. Huh?
Do you think they'll sort of lean towards the old Legends books or anything like that?
I think they'll reference things and like they've been doing, just take elements and names and characters and do something slightly different with it, maybe, or use it in a different way. But I think it's just going to be bang straight in. You're part of Rogue Squadron. You're following the story of one of the members. Maybe a new member joins it.
Rookie, the new rookie who becomes Maverick,
and they come under. Maybe it's the passing of the torch from Wedge to somebody, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
that could be it.
That could be cool.
We might get Snap Wexley as a kid or something.
Oh yeah, as a youngster. Well, didn't they? They had a bit about him in the books, didn't they? In Aftermath.
Yeah, no, because he didn't join till late, did he? No, it won't be him.
Um,
but maybe Poe's family or something. Poe's dad.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they might do that actually. Tie it all together that way. Yeah.
Again, when we don't know when it's set either, do we? That's the thing.
True.
We don't know whether it's in the actual, the time frame of the films, or if it's in the same period.
A lot of it feels like they're moving away from the sequel trilogy era.
Well, again, this is the thing with the Disney. They seem to have the agenda of trying to get away from it, but Favreau's brought it well back to the look of the Empire, hasn't he? So
although I think that Mandalorian will go up to the
First Order.
First Order.
Well, basically,
we've got Snoke and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, this is basically showing you how the First Order was being built, isn't it? It's starting to, which is cool because there's some really good stuff that happens in that, you know. And again, this is the thing. This is why they need to recast Luke and Leia, I think, because even if it's just as background stuff that's happening, I want to see, you know, what's happening with the New Republic, and maybe see like some news feeds of, you know, what's
going on.
Especially when, like in the books, when
we
Leia
might get
gets
that.
outed to being Vader's daughter. That's such a major thing that had ramifications across.
We might get some of that stuff as it goes on, you know, because where we are in the timeline, you know, you don't know, even say for the next season of Mandalorian, we don't even know if they're going to, will they jump a bit of time, or is it going to just pick up right where it left off? You know, we don't know. And depending on if the Boba Fett one comes out before Mandalorian, or if they come out at the same, maybe we get Boba Fett on Thursday, Mandalorian on Friday or something. You know,
have you heard the rumor that Thingy is leaving it though?
Pedro Pascal, he's debunked it and said it's not true.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Also,
there was all these rumors about him moaning that he didn't take his helmet off enough, and he was like, "That's not true."
That's not true. What's going to happen right at the beginning is it's going to be straight in from what happened in that episode, and Bo-Katan's going to shoot him in the head.
And that's the end of Din Djarin, yeah.
That's it.
That was her trick all along, get him to believe he should take. This is what happens.
In your face.
So we're also getting a Cassian Andor show, which we've known about for a while.
Yeah.
Got a little bit look behind the scenes of that. That could be interesting.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
I mean, you know, can you imagine if they just, like, as they all come out, it's like, right, Monday you get this, Tuesday you get this, Wednesday you get this. Can you imagine that? That'd be great.
It would be cool.
What else did they announce?
But what we can safely say is, once the first one starts, then literally every week there's going to be a new Star Wars thing every week.
Oh yeah. And I
for the rest of our lives, probably there's going to be a new Star Wars thing every week.
What a time to live in, right?
It almost means that we're going to have to do a podcast every week.
it almost does mean that. Well, that's what I thought was going to happen. I was like, okay, well, once all these shows come out, you know, we're going to be like, oh, did you see the new episode of this? Oh, did you see, you know, so we'll end up talking about all of them.
Daryl will sack us otherwise.
Is Daryl paying us?
Well, he pays me.
Well, I don't get paid. What's going on? Is that it? What else was there? There was there's Visions. This is new anime. Visions. This is going to be
and again,
different.
That's the same title as that comic. It was the same basic idea, wasn't it? Like these different visions of what was going on in the universe.
So this is different. Japanese anime artists are going to give their take on the Star Wars.
Samurai Vader.
It could be interesting. It's something a bit different. You know, there might be some good ones, might be some bad ones. Then we're getting the Bad Batch.
Yeah, I ain't bothered about that.
I
don't care.
I don't really. What else was there? I haven't got it in front of me at the moment. It's stupid. My preparation.
I've got you in front of me.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, I'll tell you what. Why don't we
take
some
of
the questions now? I'm just going to get that because I lied.
Have you got that
in front of me? I'm about to have it in front of me. Okay. I've got it on my phone. It's easier than having it on the computer while I talk to you. Right.
Hoodoo.
So the first question was Martin Wilkinson, and he said,
Marty.
"Is season 3 going to be Din or Boba?" As
Din.
has to be the main question. Well, season 3 is going to be Din because it's
or neither.
Separate.
It's going to be Bo because she's killed Din at the beginning of it,
which we've just addressed. And then he said, "Who will play Thrawn in the Ahsoka series?" Now, I think normally I wouldn't say get the voiceover actor because they're a voiceover actor, not an actor like a physical actor. But Lars Mikkelsen, Mads Mikkelsen's brother, does the voice of Thrawn in Rebels, and he is actually an actor as well.
Oh, is he? What does he look like?
He could look like Thrawn. He paint him blue and do his hair black.
I think they should get Peter
Serafinowicz.
Yeah.
Peter Serafinowicz. A lot of people want Benedict Cumberbatch. I don't.
No.
I don't want that. I don't think. Let me just get you. I'm going to do a little bit of Nicholson. There he is. Obviously, I'll send you a picture of him. But I think, you know, with a bit of
Thanks, buddy.
with a bit of makeup, like, you know,
Blue makeup,
black hair, I think that he could be quite a good Thrawn.
I think they should get Papa Smurf.
Yeah, well, they have to shave his beard though, right? But I mean, you know, when they do animated characters, they often
cool.
try and put a bit of the actor does their voice in there. So I'm going to send this over to you so you can see, and other people, you can go and look him up online.
Yeah, look it up, you lazy. He doesn't look like Thrawn.
He could look like Thrawn.
No.
Look at him in Rebels. Now he's obviously smiling that picture, but you know, serious look, painted blue, red eyes, black hair, you know, neatened up a bit. Obviously, this is just him like going about his business. But
Okay.
I think you could do him good. So what else did he ask? He's got plenty more. Right, a couple of questions from Dan Dufour.
Oh, Dan. Oh, Danny boy.
After the end of the season, what now? So where do you think it goes from here?
Well, Darksaber, sorting out Mandalore, re-establishing Mandalore, dealing with the Imperial remnants. That's what we've got to do. We've got to kick those Imperial butts.
I think that there's a potential that now that he's got the Darksaber and that Bo-Katan won't take it, which even though she took it from Sabine, but she's refusing to take it from him.
We don't know that for a fact now.
But from what we know at the moment, she said, I can't take it, right? So are we going to have other Mandalorians hunting Din Djarin?
Yeah, everyone's going to want that Darksaber.
That's what's going to happen, right? So you're going to see like loads of
Mandalorians on the run.
He'll be on the run. He'll have to get a ship. Maybe he's going to end up with
stop getting shot. He'll have to learn to dodge some bullets.
Because they've all got Beskar too. So, you know, and they've got rocket launchers and stuff too, right? So, you know, I reckon...
Maybe I have a rocket launcher installed to his crap backpack.
He doesn't have one, does he?
Weapon ever.
Yeah.
No, because it's the most useless weapon ever made.
What, his backpack?
Well, having a rocket on your back, it's not very sensible.
Actually, not true. Boba Fett took out 2 Imperial dropships.
Yeah, once.
That we know of.
Didn't help him in Return of the Jedi, did it?
Well, he was distracted by a Jedi. He was like, I'm going to take this Jedi. And then Han Solo butted the
Why didn't he shoot the bloody rocket of a Jedi?
Which I actually said, right, when Din Djarin was fighting Moff Gideon, and the Darksaber,
kill him.
The Darksaber hit his jetpack.
Yeah.
And he didn't go flying off. But Han Solo hits Boba Fett's one with a stick. And he goes flying off.
Well, Boba Fett's wasn't made of Beskar.
Apparently not. Okay, so Grogu's gone with Luke. The Razor Crest is dust, and Din Djarin has the Darksaber. Where the hell can the show go forward from that? Well, look, they said Din Djarin said to Grogu, "I will see you again." So that's Favreau telling fans, "Don't worry, the little kid that we make money off, he's coming back." Right?
Yeah. The little cash cow.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, you know, yeah, the Razor Crest's gone. I'm sure that he'll get a new ship. It might be a Lambda class Imperial shuttle that he's going to take.
Lambda class.
Yeah, or Lambda. Is it Lambda class? I
don't know, but I like a Lambada.
Lambada. I think it's Lambda class. Or he'll just nick a TIE fighter maybe, and he'll go flying off in one of those. Imagine. Yeah. I can see Disney putting so much into the merch with Grogu on it just to have him taken away anymore. It would be crazy. It was awesome to end the series, but now I've recovered I've got so many questions. Season 3 seems a very long way. Martin came back and he says, "Can I say Dank Ferrick in front of my kids?" I do. That's what I use right now. Frank Dias says, "Is
Force
Grogu..."
Ghost Frankie?
Yep, that's him. Force Ghost Frankie. Is Grogu actually a relation of Palpatine? No.
Well, he's a DNA donor, maybe.
Yeah, maybe he is a relation now. The same way that Fett is with Jango.
Maybe he's Rey's mum.
Maybe. Could the secret empire do a Force-sensitive blood drive campaign out in the open? Would they do that? Would they go planet to planet and say, hey, give blood, like help fallen soldiers, and then like take Force-sensitive blood?
Well, yeah, that's a good
This
idea.
is a good one, though. Why don't Dark Troopers use the same batteries as those battle droids in Clone Wars? It's true, right? The super battle droids, why don't they use their batteries? Why have they got to be so...
It was convenient. It took so long to charge them up. You'd have thought they'd be ready to go.
You'd think,
like,
right?
Once they're charged up, you know what I mean?
But I do like them. They're like a cross between Iron Man and Terminators.
Yeah, it would have been cool if they'd have all run out of power when they were trying to fight. Oh.
Right, so this was if the Empire has so much Beskar, I don't think they do. Why did they ever make armor out of it? I don't think they have very much Beskar.
I don't think they do either. I don't think they've got a lot.
But if they made armor out of it, they made one suit of armor. That's it. They haven't got that much. This is the one that we're going to talk about. Will there be a Luke building his Jedi Temple series?
No.
So no, there won't. But I thought about this a bit because I was like, I would quite like to see something of that, and you could do a series.
I would love to see it.
I know we know where it ends up, right? And you wouldn't necessarily have to have Luke as the main character. You could have like one of his students, yeah. And you have like Luke
young
here
Ben
a couple of times. No, I don't want that. But you could have like a couple of other trainee Jedis because you bring new characters.
It could be the story of Grogu growing up.
No. Like a couple of other Padawans.
Could be. Grogu and his mates.
Their adventures, because,
Wookiee Jedi.
You can have a Wookiee Jedi and his friend that fly around in a ship together. But, you could potentially do a show which was about this new Jedi character, because there's a lot of years, right? So it'd be, from early on to his early students who become quite prominent students who are quite good, because, lots of people got killed there. But there could have been ones who were off somewhere else, off planet.
Like Grogu.
Well, yeah, but if he had other students, it doesn't mean that every single student was at school that day when it got burned down. There might have been others.
Some might have graduated by then.
Some might have graduated by then, exactly. So, you could have a story about some other ones, and you could have like little bits where you get an insight into how the school is building and all that kind of stuff. I know it's like bringing it back to the timeline, but it is a completely new story, and it would give us a chance for a show. You've got a bit more Jedi stuff going on and all that. I would be quite interested to see it as well.
Agreed. I don't think they will be able to do a story about Luke because but you couldn't build a TV series with any kind of progression or narrative based on the main characters. So it would definitely have to be about characters we don't know.
Yeah. And you could have him, Master Luke's there, and they see him from time to time. Like, you don't have to have him in it all the time. And then it could be, it could even be, like, I need you. I'm sending you guys to do Jedi work. I mean, to go here, and what I mean. Like, you could come up with a plot where he sends them off, and then it's like following these two characters, and as it goes, you sort of get more talk about their training, and maybe you get a little look back at when they were younger and stuff like that. And you could do a show that did focus a little bit on his new Jedi Academy and stuff. When will Disney Plus increase their prices? Well, I can tell you exactly when. It's going to be in it's going to be in March 2021. It's going to go from $5.99 up to $7.99 in the UK. And in Australia, it's going to go up from $8.99 to $11.99, and in America, it's going to go up from $6.99 to $7.99. And in euros across Europe, it's going to go up from $6.99 to $8.99. I don't actually mind this price increase because we're also getting a new part of Disney Plus, which is going to be called Star. I don't know why they're calling it that. They said the reason they're calling that, and this is in the UK, the reason they're calling it Star, and I think it's in Europe as well, is because Hulu's not a known property over here. It is. I know about Hulu. Lots and lots of people know about Hulu.
Star.
I've never heard of Star. But it's basically going to be our version of Hulu, and it's going to have all their shows from Fox and maybe some of their movies that are more adult orientated and stuff like that. Which I'm glad about. We're getting an Alien series. We're getting like a whole bunch of new stuff come on there.
The thing is, though, I want a refund for this year's Disney Plus because, to be fair, I've only watched one new thing.
Yeah,
I've only watched one new thing on it.
Yeah, it's true. But you know, I don't really think $7.99 is ridiculous. It's kind of what I pay on Netflix. So
yeah, but I watch a lot on Netflix.
Well, you will be watching a lot on Disney.
No, I don't think I will.
Oh, you don't think you'll watch WandaVision? You don't think you'll watch Falcon Winter Soldier? You don't think you'll watch
Marvel?
all the other...
I don't watch Marvel stuff. I don't know about Marvel.
You don't think you'll watch all the new Star Wars stuff that's coming? Yeah, of course you will. Yeah, I think
I'll pirate it.
Yeah, you don't say that on here.
Oh, okay.
Because I believe Bob Iger's going to be watching.
Oh, Bob.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've got to support Kathy.
Yeah. So the price is going up in March next year.
I'm going to do an annual subscription in February then.
How will Boba Fett and Fennec Shand build up a proper gangster outfit? Well, I mean, okay, they shot a couple of people, but others ran out, and they'll just come back.
Get Boskin.
You know, I mean, there'll be other bounty. It might even be like a new bounty hunter guild. You know, he might just have.
Carl
Weathers
will probably be in
He's got all of Jabba's money because he's just taken the place.
Yeah.
You know, and actually, I was watching Return of the Jedi this morning, and when it showed Jabba's palace, I was looking and going, that place is actually huge. You know, it's massive.
Well, if you play Battlefront 2, you know how big it is because there's a lot of running around in there.
Mm. There you go. Why didn't Moff Gideon have that brain fry tooth thing that the Imperial officer had? He probably didn't think he'd need it. It's like Nazi.
He didn't want to die.
Well, it's like Nazi soldiers or officers, right? They all had like the cyanide pill and that. But I don't think that Hitler had one. He shot himself in the end, didn't he? So
he's not going to kill himself for the Empire.
He was about to because he went like that. He went to shoot himself, but he
never because he didn't want to be.
He never thought he was going to be at that point. He never thought he was in any danger of that ever happening to him. No. So when he's got an Imperial officer, he's out on another ship somewhere going about on a mission. Something could happen where he gets captured. But he's like, well, you need to kill yourself, but I'm here in my big ship with all my stormtroopers. I've got my dark troopers that no one can take down. He didn't expect Luke Skywalker.
Yeah. Why do you think it took so long for those dark troopers to come back to the ship? Because as soon as they got sucked out the airlock, which I thought was very convenient that there was an airlock attached to our charging.
Yeah, I said that, and then I went, but I suppose they launched them from there, right?
Yeah. But why did it take them so long to fly back? Because literally they've got rockets in their legs. Because they could have just flown back straight away.
Because they needed enough time for the heroes to do stuff and then for Luke to turn up.
Oh,
that's why. Plot point. That's why. Why did Boba get his ass kicked by Cosca Reeves? I mentioned that earlier. She's fully trained, active. Soldier, and I think he would have won in the end anyway. He didn't get his ass kicked. He punched her a few times.
Who's asking these questions, Jay?
This is Frank Diaz.
Still Frank.
False face.
Frank.
Yeah, false face. Frankie.
Listen to what we're saying.
I know, right?
Frank.
Will Mando be the new heir to the Mandalorians once for all and set a single rule on the COVID-19 protections mask on or off? He is currently the boss, right?
But he's never going to want to be.
But he doesn't want to be. So he wants to get rid of it, but no one can take it. They will have to play him. That's a bit of a prediction, right?
This is the thing. Surely.
Well, he went, I yield, and she was like, no, because I'll be a pretender, even though she wasn't. So I think what she'll say is that the disunification or whatever, like the falling apart, was because no one believed in her leadership. Because they'll have to address it, right?
The other thing is, though, the only people that know that Mando won it are in that room. Do you know what I mean?
I know. They're going to address this, right? They're going to address this. They've got to. But, yeah, I mean, what a prediction there, right? I don't want this. Take it. No, I can't. I've got to kick your ass. I don't want my ass kicked either. Just take it. I don't want it. That's his position.
I'd said, well, beat the crap out of me and have it.
Yeah, but she won't if he's not fighting back, you know. So
Well, he could fight her back because he probably still. He's not going to win. He's rubbish at fighting. All she's got to do is shoot him.
that which isn't hard. Yeah.
No.
And he goes, last question. Will there be a boys get it done scene in Mando season 3 to rival the girls get it done scene in Mando season 2?
Boys don't get it done.
I don't think there will be. I mean, yeah, you might have a couple of scenes where Mando and, you know, one of his, whoever he meets, go and do something, but I don't think there's going to be a guys scene like that.
We don't need a guys scene.
Well, I mean, I know that it was very obviously let's put all the girl characters together and do this, but I don't think they're going to do the opposite. I think they'll just leave it at that. It depends. You don't know who he's going to meet in season 3. You know, it might be a bunch of dudes. We don't know. And
it might be non-binary people get it done.
We don't even know what his mission's going to be in season 3. Like, is there going to be a reason for? You know, in this one, there was a reason that they went onto ship, and the crew he had. I mean, you had obviously Bo and Reeves, and you know all the other characters. Like, so they all went on this mission, but we don't know that he's going to have that kind of mission yet. I mean, who knows? Maybe, maybe not. Right, so yeah, so that's all of the questions.
Thanks for the questions, gang.
We've been going a while now, so I think we should probably sign off. You got any final words, Colin, before we go?
About Star Wars
or anything?
Well, I'll tell you about my website if you want.
Yeah, go. Tell everyone about it. You've done some lovely artwork behind Colin. He done his commission. It's beautiful.
I have got a new website, cardboardcolin.co.uk, and I am selling art. I'm selling prints. I am doing commissions for people. So why don't you check it out and
pay
drop
him.
me a line if you're interested in something.
There you go. So there you go. Cardboard Colin. It says cardboardcolin.co.uk. Cool.
Easy.
There you go. All right. Well, it's been nice talking to you, Colin.
Thank you. Lovely to speak
to
you, Jay. I missed you.
Yeah, I've missed you. So until whenever the next time is, maybe it's next week. Maybe it's
a
little while after that. I don't know. Let's see.
Might be.
But we'll hopefully see you soon. Take
Punchy
care.
Chewy.
May the force be with you.